Hello everyone, I am Walt and welcome to the Enlightened Life series. Hey Crow. Today we're talking about how to make this decade your decade, okay? How to make this your decade, basically. And I'm shooting this right at the beginning of a new kind of linear decade, as you might think, because I'm shooting this right as 2019 goes into 2020 here. The 2020s could be the roaring 20s for you, or they could be not so great. So how do we make sure that this decade, regardless of when you're watching this, gets to be your decade? Now, one of my favorite motivational speakers, Les Brown, did a how to make a, this kind of your decade speech that I absolutely love. So I might borrow a little material from him, but mostly it's going to be the same kind of stuff we've covered before. And it really comes back to the idea that making something yours is going to be all about your desire and your belief that you can do it, okay? Now, you also might need to include acceptance here, because these are the things that are going to allow you to really achieve what you desire to achieve. So if you can accept where you're at, you know where you want to go, and you believe that you can get there, then nothing is going to be able to stop you from achieving your dream, okay? But so many people are not exactly sure where they want to go. They're not willing to accept where they're at because they think that accepting where they're at is just going to make them feel like a failure. If they admit, you know what, I don't have it all together. I've had, these things go wrong for me. I don't like this. I don't like that. If they feel like if they're willing to accept that they have a problem. And the truth is that accepting where you're at is important, because if you don't know where you are never going to be able to get where you want to go, okay? So if you have, say you want to go to a different city, okay? The path to getting to that city is going to be based on where you're at. But if you're never willing to acknowledge what kind of place you're at, then you're never going to know how to get to that city. That city could be like where you're already at, but since you don't know that you're actually there, then you might not be able to, you might wander off in the wrong direction. So here are the keys to being able to make this your decade. First off, know what you want out of this decade, okay? So set a goal for the end of the decade or part of the way or anything, okay? It can be a yearly goal. I wouldn't recommend monthly goals as much, as I've talked about a little bit in my goal setting video, or it could be a life goal. It could be any of these kind of goals. Set a goal for what it is you want to achieve, probably within the decade, okay? Something to be between 5 or 10 years is probably your best kind of goal period, but you can easily do it for a year or something like that. I kind of recommend that length of time, as I find that to be most effective with my goal setting process. Now, once you've set your goals, okay, once you figured out, I'd like to achieve this, this, and this, and this, this, and this, it's best to only have a few goals. To only have 2 goals, I think, is the optimum kind of number. There are a lot of things you can want to achieve, but don't overload the brain with all of them, or your subconscious mind is going to have a difficulty picking up on which ones are the most important and getting the most brain power behind them, okay? So, setting the best goals can be a challenge, but if you're willing to go forward and set good goals, then you can really start to achieve the things you really want to. So first, figure it out, basically, where you're at in your life, If your goal is going to be financial, figure out where you are financially. If it's going to be, based on losing weight, because everybody tends to do that around the new year, then figure out how much you weigh. Do all these kind of things, accept where you are at. Once you've accepted where you're at, put forth your desire of where you want to go, okay? So figure out, what, I would like to be here. I'd like to be at this weight. I'd like to be, at this muscle strength. I'd like to have this much money or this many assets, whatever it is. Set the goal then, okay? Once you figure out what it is you desire, and really set the goal based on what it is you desire, not what you think is possible necessarily, okay? Now, you don't want to make the goal entirely impossible or almost like inconceivable to your mind. Inconceivable. Basically, you don't want to do that because you're going to have the mind push back against it in the belief stage. But basically, accept where you're at, figure out where it is you desire to go, and then begin to believe in your ability to do it. And building belief is probably the most challenging part, because it's fine-tuning the mind to align it to, hit your targets. And the way you're going to do this is best through things like auto-suggestion. So terms of like affirmations, celebrating your victories, celebrating your past victories, and some of the best techniques there I have explained in other videos, but here I would say use your affirmations, and one of my favorites is to put up posters of your past victories, okay? Even as few as they might be, put forward all the things you've done well, and this will constantly remind your mind of all the things you have truly done well. So when you use this process, you can begin to make this decade your decade, okay? Because you can go after what you love most. And that is going to allow you to really feel a lot better, because when you go after what it is you love and what it is you desire, then you feel so much more alive than when you deny that and don't go after it. But yeah. So that's about it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully you guys are ready to make this decade your decade. So thanks for watching. I'm Walt. I'll see you guys with our next video on this Enlightened Life series. So thanks for watching. I'll see you then.